Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hero Movie Podcast, your greatest source of superhero movie discussion in the multiverse. I am your host, Adam Portrais, and I'm joined as always by Sean Keenan.
Heidi likes glitter.
And glitz, glamour in it all. That reminds me of my good friend Bruce Leslie.
I'm a prickly pear, but I'm feeling a little too old to lang syne this year.
Oh, man. It is the end of the year, folks, and that's a special time of year here on H&P. That's when we look back at the year that was. We come up with some silly, stupid awards and give them out to non-existent people. Well, non-existent in the fact that they'll never show up to my apartment to receive their awards.
But wouldn't that be awkward if they did? Because they'd have to like sit there and listen to the rest of the awards. You wouldn't let them leave early. Your dog would probably bark at them.
Yeah, they're just like, this Diet Coke is flat. Shut up! You just scream at them until they,
I can see the text. Would you mind bringing your own microphone?
Bring your own microphone and stuff, and please have a prepared speech ready. You may or may not win. Oh, we sent home Nicolas Cage yet again with no award.
Adam, why is Chris Evans sitting in your house?
We're bros. Just hanging out.
I want Peter Hooten on your love seat there in the studio.
Oh, I would. Man, if Peter Hooten was here, we'd all have a good time. So this is the year that we go back, we take a look, or the episode rather, that we go back, take a look at everything that we did in the year. We give out some awards. We talk about the year that was, and we can also, if we feel like it, go back and re-review any of the movies that we've seen in the past year and give an updated grade, whether that be better, whether or not that be worse, whatever you like to do. It's a fast and loose show. We just do whatever. We don't care. Fun stuff.
That's kind of how it always goes.
I think that's not untrue. But what does go is people that go down to the iTunes, give us a 5-star review, a.k.a. Humdinger.
Humdinger.
This one is simply entitled Fantastic by One Idea Medic. Sure, One Idea Medic. It's all one word. And short, sweet, and to the point. I absolutely love it. I can't stop listening to this podcast. Amazing. Shut up, Siri. I don't know why she thinks I'm talking to her. She goes,
was that in the review?
No, she just goes, hey, do you want me to do a thing? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm reading iTunes. I don't know. I'm sure it's Steve Jobs' ghost coming back to haunt me. But no, thank you for that review there. We appreciate that. Rocking another 5 stars. We really enjoy it. And thank you to everyone that does that. It just helps this place, kind of get a little bit better. And it's all because of you guys, man. We really appreciate that.
Thanks, everybody.
So we've had a pretty good year here. A lot of good stuff, a lot of movies. And, man, 2017 doesn't look like it's stopping. I mean, when we started this show, this is we're coming up on year number 3 here. We thought, we'll just do an episode, maybe twice a month, and we can't even fit in all the stuff that we want to fit in now.
And I think it's probably fair to say that we have more listeners now than we did this time last year, and the same thing for the year before. So thanks everybody for jumping aboard. Yeah,
absolutely. We're watching them numbers grow every single month, and it's because of the iTunes. It's because of you guys going out telling friends And that's the big thing, too. And I always tell people that, they're like, oh, well, I don't have iTunes. And that's absolutely cool. I know a lot of people that just hate Apple and iTunes and all that kind of stuff. Totally understandable. In that case, just tell a friend, man. Because if you're a nerd, chances are you got a nerdy friend over there, too, that, likes this kind of garbage. So that's what we like, man.
Yes.
So let's. So like I said, we got a lot of awards and whatnot to give out. But let's kind of give an overall impression. I mean, Bruce, what'd you think of 2016?
Cinematically and television speaking, it was a great year.
Yeah. Oh, please, only referencing what we've covered on the show. The outside world, that can all take a break. But as far as H&P is concerned.
I liked the Super Bowl in the beginning, didn't like how it ended. And then all the football games since then have been mostly disappointing.
I could see that.
All of that is true. This year we got a really great addition to Star Wars. That was great. We got a Deadpool movie, the Deadpool movie that we all wanted. That was awesome. And Civil War was awesome also. I mean, those are some big highlights right there.
Yeah, I'd say that's the biggest thing is that, we finally had I think one of the big things was we finally got a Deadpool movie, and it was as good as you wanted it to be. And that's what was really surprising, and that people can't stop talking about it, and that they're already rolling into, number 2 and everything. I think that's such a good sign for where stuff is going, and, hopefully, look, I mean, you even got people like Jennifer Lawrence is going on a big kind of press tour and everything with Chris Pratt for Passengers' new movie coming out. And her big thing is like, I don't want to be in no more X-Men movies. I want Mystique to be in Guardians of the Galaxy. And it's like,
I like that
even
idea.
she's just like, look, man, I'm done with this universe. I want to go have fun over with Marvel proper. That's saying something. And I'm just like, and I would like a Mystique that would actually be blue for over half the movie. We all don't get what we want, Jennifer.
You with the Mystique, man.
I'm just saying. The first we reviewed the second X-Men movie this year, and in there's a line, or was it the second or the first one? Either way, she goes, "Hey, if there's the second one." She's talking to Nightcrawler, and she goes, "Well, you don't have to." He's like, "You could look any way that you want to. Why would you want to look like this?" And she goes, "There's no reason I should have to look any other way, and they should get used to me, not me having to conform for them." And Jennifer Lawrence just goes, "I don't want to be in makeup for 5 hours a day."
Yeah.
Boo-hoo, Jennifer Lawrence. You get a lot of money, so suck it up, Buttercup. I'm just
strong words from Adam Portrais, everybody.
Yeah, take that one to the bank. Though if she came here,
Now
I'd
she's gonna
probably be
stop
like, I
returning your
love your
calls,
stuff,
Adam.
man. Yes. No, she won't return any of them. Drat. So year in 2016 here. Let's get with a couple of categories here. So first up, we have best/worst acting. So this is the best/worst acting that you could possibly have. A lot of people go like, "Man, I love great acting. We celebrate that in the Oscars and stuff all the time." No one actually celebrates the people that absolutely stink at their job. So
this is always my favorite category too, because I love those people that just put a little extra ham in their acting.
Yeah, I mean
this is the category that is specifically Bruce Leslie all day.
This is his most poignant, I believe. So the nominees are Michael Pataki as Captain Barbera in Spider-Man 1977. Great episode right there. Oh, this is a tough one. Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider. I told you he didn't show up to the couch again. Very disappointed. Or Matt Frewer as Dr. Russell in Generation X. This is a tough one, man, because we had a lot of high-ranging performers right here, man. Three very different acting adventures, if you will. So let's say
who wants to go first?
Sean, what say you?
I'll go first because this one's easy for me. Michael Pataki all day. Are you kidding me? He's the second best thing about the 1977 Spider-Man movie. The first one being how awesome the Spider-Man special effects are.
Boy.
You guys know how much I love that movie, and I cannot wait to watch more of them. I cannot wait because I enjoyed myself so strongly, and I hope that Michael Pataki takes a bigger and bigger role with each movie. It's Michael Pataki all day, man. No one is a bigger cheeseball and the kind of cheeseball I love than him as the cop in that movie. So good.
Yeah. Now, Nicolas Cage is Nicolas Cage in Ghost Rider, and I love a crazy, wacky Nick Cage performance, but if I'm going for one that just goes full Nick Cage, as I like to call it, I'm going to go Wicker Man. You know what I'm saying? That's just like a level with which, and while he has some crazy stuff in the Ghost Rider movie, it doesn't come like a quarter of close to where like Wicker Man goes. So as much as I love hating on Nicolas Cage in a lot of ways, that's not a place to go. Matt Frewer, he does basically do a what's his nose there from the
Max Headroom?
Max Headroom, yes. So he does a Max Headroom there yet again, kind of in this performance. It's a little bit wacky, it's a little bit weird, but Sean is right. I mean, as bad as Michael Pataki's acting is, it's also so bad it's good. Just chomping on the cigar, saying nonsensical crap. You almost wish he was playing that character and J. Jonah Jameson. That's how much that guy brings to the table, man. And so he gets my vote.
Enough with the cauliflower.
And, I'm a connoisseur. I'm a connoisseur of this kind of performance. And I like to think that I'm an authority on it. And I do consider myself to be the definitive source for judgments on hammy acting, this best worst acting stuff. And what I say, the basic rule, the only rule you got to follow is what you lack in talent, make up for in enthusiasm. and nobody does that better than Pataki. So this is, hands down, 3 upvotes for Michael Pataki.
Yeah,
Nice.
That's how I approach my love life as well. I just make up a lot of it in enthusiasm, so don't worry.
Yeah, it's like my singing. What I lack in talent, I make up for in volume.
That's good, man. That's what I always say that about people that do, karaoke and stuff. It's like, even if you like really, really stink, if you give it all and just commit to it, even terrible karaoke can be great, because it's just like, you don't care and you got so much conviction that you just kind of go for it, and you embrace the suck, if you will. So I dig that. Next up on the docket here is Best Animated Movie, i.e. the Keenan Award.
Yes. The first member of the crew to get an award named after him is Sean Keenan, so I think we should let him go last.
Yeah. So this is one that so we review a couple of these animated films, most of them DC direct to home video and everything. And Sean don't like them most of the time, and usually he excoriates us for having to actually watch them. Sometimes we can't blame them. Sometimes we go, "Oh, you're a little bit too harsh." But let's see how this year stacked up. And the nominees are Batman: Bad Blood, Batman: Return of the Caped Crusaders, and Batman: The Killing Joke. That should be called the Batman Animated Award.
Yeah, I really tried to squeeze that Doctor Strange movie in, but I just couldn't do it.
No, you can't. It doesn't, because it doesn't belong in this pantheon of Batmans. So I'll go first with this. Batman: Bad Blood, I forgot was a thing that we did.
It's definitely the third horse in the race.
It's just so forgettable. Damien is just a little whiny turd in it. You hate him. You hate the whole thing. It's why DC animated movies, especially the stuff that they're doing, it's very kind of canonical and everything, is starting to get boring. And man, I hope they kind of branch out and do other stuff. That's why the Bruce Timm one was at least kind of more interesting, because they didn't have to slavishly stay over the same thing that they've done movie after movie with all the other stuff. They can kind of branch out and do new and different things. So boo to that movie. Next up, of course, Killing Joke. Killing Joke I liked. It was fairly save for the the first half to maybe a little bit less than half of the movie with the whole Barbara Gordon edition thing. It's decent. I liked it well enough. It's a pretty close adaptation to the book itself, but maybe just didn't get to where it actually needed to be. In the theater.
And honestly, I'm sorry to cut you off, but the biggest appeal was Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy coming back.
Oh,
to the
yeah,
roles.
exactly. And those were the two where you're just like, man, oh, man, I got to get in on this one, and because those two are the best. And but while good, it felt like it was lacking a little bit of something. So that's why my vote has to go to Batman: Return of the Caped Crusaders, the animated movie that I was not even close to thinking that I would actually even like. But went to see it in the theater, and that was the funny thing. We saw The Killing Joke in the theater, and that place packed to the brim, right? But we go to the Caped Crusader animated one, and nary a soul to be found. There's only a couple people in there, and that was a far superior film. It knew what it was. It had a lot of fun with what it did, and man, I can't believe it. I had such a blast at that thing, man. It was the Batman animated movie we deserved. Bruce?
Well, this is really just a two-bat race. Bad Bloods can't hang with them. But I think for me, it was a lot closer between The Killing Joke and The Return of the Caped Crusaders than it was for you. Pretty much neck and neck, both of them. It's the voice talent that was the biggest draw, but I think the Caped Crusaders had a little bit more humor in it. I think it's fair to say not a whole lot of laughs in The Killing Joke. So I'm going to go with Return of the Caped Crusaders.
Though there were a couple of additional laughs in the thing that were very Brian Azzarello, I believe. But,
Yeah.
But, yeah, definitely a little bit on the darker side, no doubt. Sean, which of these movies did you hate the least?
Well, first of all, let's go through them. So Bad Blood is a horror show.
It's pretty
it was
atrocious.
Awful, and this is one of the reasons why I hate when you guys are like, hey, let's see this new cartoon. no thank you. That movie is awful, and it's the worst of the worst, because it takes itself way too seriously. The story is off. The animation is terrible in it. Like there's so much wrong with that movie, and I can't stand it. So that's first off. The Killing Joke, I'm going to surprise you guys with, because I saw that extracurricularly because you guys had already seen it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And I watched it. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, Bruce, the voiceover talent's just terrific in that. But by far, not even close, the best thing we saw this year was Return of the Cape Crusaders for cartoons. That thing is amazing. And, you know, over and over again, I think back to watching that. And first of all, that I remember watching it is in of itself a huge win. Because how many animated movies did we watch this year? Something like 4?
4 or 5, something like that. Yeah.
And I can only remember specific moments of Return of the Cape Crusaders. That thing is great, and I cannot wait for the next one. And we totally need to review that on this show, and so that gets the win for me.
Very good. All right, next up is Best Pilot. Now, these are not pilots, save for one. They don't necessarily, when we say pilots, that doesn't mean they have to come out this year. They could come out other years as well, because we did review 2 pilots that didn't really go nowheres. So up first, we got the nominees here. We have Power Pack, the Canadian Broadcasting Company's best attempt at doing something superhero-wise. Generation X, short-lived 90s kind of offshoot to make the 90s, make the Fox attitude, bring that to the X-Men universe.
Fox attitude, I forgot about that.
And of course, the pilot for Preacher. So, you know, it's a funny category because I think it's an easy one.
It's a little cliche, but I'm going to say it. One of these things is not like the others.
One of these things does not belong. So get out of here, Preacher. You're no darn good to us anymore.
Only one of them did you 2 see in the theater.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
On the big screen, no doubt. So, yeah, look, Power Pack was just... Let's reuse some crap from Goosebumps to get onto the screen, and just the most mediocre effects, just the crappiest kid acting you've ever seen. I mean, just like the only thing that was missing was like a drunk Canadian dad that tried to beat kids or something. I just felt like that was missing. Generation X was like so forgettable, except for the fact that what was the fast guy? Who was he? No, wait, that was the Justice League one.
Now.
See, I can't even remember that crap Justice League pilot that we saw like last year versus the Generation X thing. It all sucks. So I don't even remember that well enough to know how bad it is. Terrible. So it's Preacher 110%. We made an entire other podcast on account of it. So I think that ought to tell you.
Yeah, I think this category I may have constructed just to kind of plug Preacher Podcast a little bit.
Yeah, Preacher Podcast, everyone. Check it out wherever you find podcasts. Sean, what do you think?
Well, for me, it's Power Pack. It
Oh.
was my favorite.
You like that
my
painting.
favorite this year. And by the way, I'm sorry to spring this on you guys, but I'm doing a Power Pack podcast every week where we review Power Pack each and every single week.
You and Marty Merrick are going to have some fun.
Sean Keenan, Power Packing.
You know, the only thing I can remember about Power Pack is the kid falling in the sink and the Stallone connection at the end. That's the only 2 things I can remember about that movie. Of course, it's Preacher all day, man. And Gen X, the only thing I remember is the thing I remembered from when I was a kid, which was the Matt Frewer stuff.
Yeah.
Gosh, that thing has gone in and out of my brain so fast. I'm desperately trying to think about. Like, I remember Matt Frewer just running around. That's it. Everything
really
else in there's a
shoulders
blur.
in his jacket.
He did. He had
Such a
huge
blur.
shoulder pads.
Bruce, where are you going to put your vote, Bruce?
Well, you know, I feel bummed that I wasn't able to make it to New York to see the premiere with you guys, but it still looked pretty good on my home TV here. So I'm just gonna cut to the chase and vote for Preacher, and let's move on for this ridiculous category.
I don't know what you're talking about. All right, next category up is we got Best TV Villain. Got a couple of good choices here. Marshala Ali, I can't do it, I'm sorry, as Cottonmouth in Luke Cage. Actor's name withheld to avoid spoilers. as Zoom in The Flash season 2. Oh, that's good job there, Bruce. I like that.
Yeah, really nice. Forward thinking.
I'm a little more sensitive to spoilers lately.
Yeah. And the last one here, Jackie Earle Haley as Odin Quincannon in Preacher. This is a tough category, man. There's a lot to meat to chew on in this category. Keenan, what do you got for us?
Man, Cottonmouth. Cottonmouth was such an awesome bad guy. I don't know if you guys remember just the sheer joy of having such a great bad guy on Luke Cage this year. That first half of Luke Cage is some of the best superhero anything. And it's all due to the bad guy. It's the part of superhero movies. It's the only weak spot to all of this Marvel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is that they don't have great bad guys in the cinematic universe, but they have some really solid bad guys in the Netflix universe.
Yeah. It's a shame how stark that contrast is.
Yeah.
All right, Bruce, what do you got?
Well, I've got an emotional choice. Emotionally, there's no question. You guys know how I feel about Jackie Earle Haley. You know how I feel about his performance as Odin. I even liked him as the bad guy in that Tick pilot that didn't make the cut for Best Pilot this year.
But we'll be going to series, so don't worry, kids. There'll be more of that crap for us to watch later.
Oh, has that gotten greenlit for series?
Yep.
Yes.
I did not know that.
But the objective choice is, let me try his name, Mahershala Ali. Cottonmouth was just phenomenal. You felt his absence when he was gone from the last half of the series. There's no way I could vote for anybody other than Cottonmouth in this category.
Yeah, from just a character perspective, his acting, the way the arc for that character went and everything, it's almost impossible for you not to go with this guy. Like as meaty as Quincannon got with his kind of evilness and everything, there's just something very understated and Ali goes through all of these ranges of emotion and everything with that. And when what happens to the character happens, it really, impacts that entire series. It really shows you the value of that character. So it's undoubtedly Cottonmouth's going to be our best villain as far as TV goes. So right on, man.
For the downer.
Now for the downer. We got best movie villain. I think this is a pretty interesting category. So first up, we got Mads Mikkelsen as Caecilius in Doctor Strange, Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor in Batman v Superman, and of course Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse in X-Men: Age of Apocalypse.
I'll go ahead and start.
There's a lot to choose from here, Bruce. What do you got for us, buddy?
Well, hey, just be glad I left off Enchantress.
Oh my goodness.
But Mads Mikkelsen, I like the guy. I think he's a darn good actor, but he wasn't given a lot to do in Doctor Strange. He really wasn't. He had one really cool line, in my opinion, but I felt like he was underutilized. I did not care at all for Eisenberg at all. I thought he was the worst part of a movie that had a lot of things to complain about, at least from my perspective. But Oscar Isaac, I think he gets tainted just a little bit by the lukewarm reception that the movie X-Men Apocalypse had. But if you think about his performance, he's a good actor. And I think he did a good job, particularly considering that he was buried under all kinds of prosthetics and CGI. He still seemed menacing to me. So I'm going to vote for, in a category that could be a three-way tie for last, I'm going to vote for Oscar Isaac.
You go ahead, Adam.
This like you said, this is a tough one here. I am a big fan. I'm a big fan of Oscar Isaac, big fan of Mads Mikkelsen. I'm an on and off with Jesse Eisenberg, depending upon what the movie is, depending upon what the performance is. So I'll actually start with him. I bought Batman as much as I give that movie crap. I bought it on not even Blu-ray, 4K Blu-ray, and I don't even have a 4K TV or a 4K Blu-ray player yet. But I kind of future-proofed myself, so I bought it with the whole the big giant cut and everything. And I just I started to rewatch it a couple weeks ago, and I still haven't made it all the way through, man. And a lot of that is due to Jesse Eisenberg's performance. It's pretty cringeworthy, man. And for a guy who, I like a lot of the stuff that he's in. I mean, I thought he was amazing, like Social Network, Adventureland, things of that nature. So the kid can act. It's just that was not the role, man. And I just of all of them, it's the most disappointing. I think Bruce has a very good point with Oscar Isaac doing as well as he can, with as much garbage as he has to deal with. It's one of those things where it's like, it's not your fault, but at the same time, I can't give it to him. So I got to go Mads Mikkelsen as Caecilius in Doctor Strange, just because like he had more of a presence, he did more stuff, and he wasn't just kind of hovering there saying a couple of fancy words. It worked better for me. John, what do you got?
Well, there's two people off of this list, and I'm sorry for going off script here, but I got to. I think that Ben Mendelsohn is the best bad guy we've seen this year. A little behind the scenes, I made the list before I saw Rogue One.
That's true.
Right.
That is very true. That's a good point. We're gonna mend this right now. Ben Mendelsohn can get on that list.
And I'm going Ben Mendelsohn is the best bad guy this year.
I changed my vote.
Yeah, I changed my vote too. I want that what's her name? Cara Devine as Enchantress. She gets my vote.
That's not a surprise coming out of you.
No, Mendelsohn, you made a good point. We had some time constraints, so I had to make the list. I typically don't give the Star Wars movies the love they deserve because they're a little less comic booky, but you're right, Mendelsohn.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, and the other bad guy, even though I'm betraying what I said earlier, because I really like this character in the movie, is Daniel Bruhl, who played Baron Zemo. That character.
Oh, yeah.
I love Zemo in Civil War. I think that's a really great bad guy, and he's not even that bad a guy.
But he's got like
trying to get.
Yeah. He's got the right kind of motives and everything, and does what kind of a bad guy would do without like twirling his mustache.
And I could have been clever and put Robert Downey Jr. on here, but I didn't.
Well, and it's the first Marvel movie I can think of where they're not trying to take over the world.
Yeah.
It's pretty crafty and pretty cool, but even with all that being said, I'm going with Ben Mendelsohn, man. You know how much I loved him in Rogue One.
Yeah, not too shabby there. All right, so let's go on to Best Female Hero. This is for TV series, and the nominees are Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter in Agent Carter Season 2, Ruth Negga as Tulip in Preacher, and Rosario Dawson as Claire Temple in Luke Cage. This is a tough one. This is, like, as we make fun of some of the other ones, man, this one is, honest to goodness, one of the tougher decisions in here because you got three very different performances, but three very good performances at the same time.
I'm going to have to go last because I need to know what you guys think before I can even make up my mind.
Gosh, it's so flipping tough. But I'm going to go Ruth Negga as Tulip in Preacher, man, because this is a character who could have stunk. If you'd have cast the wrong person for this, it could have been absolutely awful. I'm gonna give a little bit of credit to the writers and stuff as well because they made Tulip here better than she is in the comics, even I would say. And
agreed.
But she comes in and makes this character all her own, and nobody at the past episode 1, nobody was going, but isn't Tulip white? They didn't give a crap because she was just nailing it, dude. She was nailing it. And as much as I like the other gals as well, I got to go Ruth on this one, man. She gets the point. Sean?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, and and also good on the casting director of Preacher because Ruth Negga hadn't done anything previously where you go, oh no, she'd be perfect for this role. That's some spot on casting by that casting director. However, I have got to go with Haley Atwell. I love Agent Carter. I love that character so much. The Marvel universe is missing a little something now that she's no longer in it.
Agreed.
Hopefully she comes back for some flashback stuff, or if they ever roll out that Fantastic Four movie we want from Marvel, maybe she's there. Whatever it is, I think that character specifically adds so much depth to a universe that's already got a lot of depth to it. Mm-hmm. And I just love the actress. I think Haley Atwell is so great in that role.
Yeah, like I said, this
Oh,
is
boy.
this is a tough one, man. What do you
You
got for
guys
the?
are no help. You guys are no help. I was hoping there was a little consensus and my vote wouldn't matter. Okay, so let's talk about Haley Atwell.
Mhm.
She's absolutely wonderful, man. She is a wonderful actress. She's a beautiful person. Super, super cool the time I got to meet her. Wrote a nice little note to my daughter. So there's that emotional side of things. But when it comes to the roles, I probably enjoyed the other two series more. So I'm leaning towards trying to decide between Ruth Negga as Tulip, Rosario Dawson as Claire Temple. And with Ruth Negga, one thing that's sort of meta knowledge that is hard to take out of the equation, but just knowing how she sounds in an interview when she's herself and she's not Tulip, and then seeing how she is a totally, totally different person as Tulip. That's what an actor's supposed to do, right? Become a different person.
Mhm.
Now, Rosario Dawson, I feel like her performance as Claire is a little bit more nuanced, but also it's a little more Rosario Dawson. I mean, I love her. I love her incredibly, but just the transformation with Ruth Negga, I gotta vote for her, man. If I didn't know anything about her and just saw the show, maybe I would lean a little bit more towards Claire Temple, but I'm going Tulip here.
Here's my thing, and here's if anyone doubts this, just go watch that World of Warcraft movie. You'll go like, wow, she's good, because that movie stunk, and she
plays an orc.
She was even all right in that. That movie was just holy smokes on a half shell, man. That thing is bad. All right, moving on. Next up, we got let's see, Best Female in a Movie. And the nominees are Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman in Batman v Superman, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad, or Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One in Doctor Strange. This is a tough one because, again, we have very different performances from very different actresses and different links with which they're in said films. Anybody got a front runner?
I'll start us off on this one. I'll start us off since I went last on the previous
right.
category. Clearly, I think that Gal Gadot is incredible as Wonder Woman. I didn't think that an actress could pull that off. Margot Robbie is probably the best thing about Suicide Squad, and I loved her performance. She's really good. Tilda Swinton, not necessarily the best thing about Doctor Strange, but she brings a certain nuance to that character. I'm using that word again, but I find myself curious. Like there's more to this character that I don't know, that I want to know, that is told to me entirely by Tilda Swinton's performance. And you know what? To be fair, if this were a boxing match, Tilda Swinton's a heavyweight and the other two are middleweights, you could say. So it's almost not fair to put them up against her, but I'm going with Tilda.
Okay. Keenan, what do you got?
Lust wins out in this one, guys. Margot Robbie, this is the character, look at the character. She's a crazy person with a baseball bat. Mm-hmm. And yet she is by far the best thing about a movie that's okay. She moves on to her own, to her own movies now. Mm-hmm. And it's because of Margot Robbie.
And because of her, Suicide Squad is my daughter's favorite movie. She really, really liked that performance.
I think that your daughter likes her for different reasons than I do in that movie.
I'm open-minded. I'll deal with it either way.
There is something I to steal from Ben Kenobi. That's a feeling I have not felt in a long time for an actress. It is amazing, her performance in that movie. And I am not affected by that kind of performance anymore. I'm just not that guy. Wow.
So I'm guessing
all day for me.
I'm guessing I'm the only one with a Tilda Swinton pinned up in my bedroom.
No.
He's like, mine's on the back of the bathroom door. What about it?
That's a good me.
So yeah, this is again, like I said, this is a tough one here. I think Tilda Swinton, while a great performance and everything, it's almost too nuanced to be great. And there's so many things that Tilda Swinton's been amazing in. This kind of falls in the lower registry for that kind of stuff. Gal Gadot, loved her. Can't wait to see what she's going to do in that Wonder Woman movie. But as great as she was, as much as she gave to that, and at the end of it going, man, I wish they would have had some more Wonder Woman in that flick. Can't in good conscience give it enough because there's just not enough performance in there. Margot Robbie's just got to be doing it, man. I loved her since Wolf of Wall Street. Everything that she's coming in, she's just great, and I like everything that she's doing. She's one of these people that even outside of being good looking, which she's extremely good looking, you can't take your eyes off of her because there's something magnetic about what she's doing on screen. Whatever movie she's in,
it's the shorts.
I'm saying whatever movie she's in.
Yeah, I mean, I saw her in Whiskey Tango Foxtrot this year, and she's great in that.
Oh, she's amazing in that flick. She was great in that. She was great in The Big Short, sitting in a bathtub talking about economics. I mean, what? Come on, forget about it. So Margot Robbie wins that one, hands down. Sorry, Bruce.
That's all right, man. That was my emotional vote.
That's what these are all for, though. All right, on to Best Male Hero in a television series. The nominees are Mike Coulter as Luke Cage in Luke Cage, Dominic Cooper as Jesse Custer in Preacher, and John Barathol as the Punisher in Daredevil Season 2. Again, another strong category of people here. I'm going to go first. We made an entire show about Preacher because we thought we'd love the show. Turns out we do, and that's a good thing because that that means our podcast can go on and we'll be happy about it and not stewing. So that's a good thing. I absolutely love Mike Coulter as Luke Cage. From a guy that I wasn't too awful familiar with coming into it, I wasn't quite sure how he would do, but man, he truly makes that role and everything. But I'm telling you, somebody that I thought could possibly ruin the role of the Punisher and John Barathol, because he plays a good psychotic person. I'm like, this could either be really good or really bad, and I'm super, super stoked that it turned out to be really, really good. And it was so good, in fact, we're now getting an originally unscheduled Punisher Netflix series in and of itself. I mean,
that's a really bad idea.
And I'm gonna reference Sean Keenan here and saying, because this is a quote, we can go back and look in the tapes, if you will, that you said, I would never been looking forward to actually seeing a Punisher thing, but John Barathol as Punisher, you even said that you would be looking forward to that more than you ever thought you would have in the previous path. So that's how I say this has to go to John Barathol as the Punisher in Daredevil Season 2. Bruce.
Oh man, Michael Coulter, so much overshone by his co-star as Cottonmouth, so I just can't vote for him. Barathol was good. The Punisher's a tough character, and he managed to pull it off. So he deserves, it's an honor to be nominated, Mr. Barathol. But this is Dominic Cooper's award. For me, there's no two ways about it. Jesse Custer, the titular character of Preacher, managed to make me love the character, hate the character, then love him again by the end. Pulled it off well. And all the things I said about Ruth Negga transforming, you can go back to that same movie, World of Warcraft, and see what we're talking about with Dominic Cooper as well.
Jeez Louise. I just want to get it across to everybody. Don't watch that piece of garbage.
I kind of liked it.
What is wrong with you?
I don't tell people I liked it. I generally keep it a secret, but I kind of liked it.
You just told thousands of people. Good job.
I haven't seen it, but I can see where people would like that movie.
Whew. All right.
For me, Coulter's awesome. Mike Coulter is awesome as Luke Cage. He might actually be the linchpin of the Netflix universe when you think about it. And Barathol was great as the Punisher. You know how I feel about that character. I have made my thoughts known on that. But come on, man, D. Coop, you got to go with D. Coop in this. Dominic Cooper, he's not even the same person from Agent Carter to Preacher.
Yeah, and he could easily have been nominated as Howard Stark.
Yeah, he is a chameleon, basically. He doesn't even look like the same person. And for years and years, we've talked about, and I think I've even been on Bruce's podcast, Heroes and Villains, talking about this, that the two most important things to cast for me as a comic book nerd are how you cast Jesse Custer and how you cast Yorick from Y the Last Man. Those are the two most important casting decisions you could possibly make. And they absolutely nailed Preacher on this. They killed it. And Cooper, I cannot wait to see what he's going to be like next year, because he's going to be a completely different character than the character we saw this year. I mean, it's going to be it's on, and I cannot wait to see it.
And that's the thing. I can't fight you on these points at all, because, like I said, it's a very close second. So I mean, yeah, I'll definitely go in on that one.
Got my hand to my heart, hoping they do half as good a job with Yorick.
Oh man, you're not.
Which,
kidding.
by the way, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, even if they do a half measure on that, at least it's a half measure, and not bringing in who they were talking about bringing in when the Why the Last Man, the rumors that it was going to be a movie, and they were talking about bringing in Shia. You don't bring in Shia for that.
Oh no Stanley Yelnats in my Why the Last Man.
Absolutely not.
So speaking of which, let's go ahead and do this for some folks that might not have heard. We're going to be doing a Why the Last Man podcast. The show hasn't
assuming the pilot gets picked
assuming
up.
the pilot gets picked up. But we can almost, like, at this point, I feel it's almost assured that it's going to get picked up. But they've ordered one, so if and when that becomes a thing, man, we got another podcast on our hands here, kids. So stay tuned.
If we could get your audio completely segmented from the rest of this podcast, where you said, "Well, we come on." It's almost a definite that it's going to get picked up. So
yeah.
So if it doesn't, we can always press that button.
All right, on to the next category here. We got Best Male Hero in a Movie, and the nominees are Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool in Deadpool, Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange in Doctor Strange, and Will Smith as Deadshot in Suicide Squad. So here's the thing, man. I'll be honest, I was sincerely surprised with Will Smith as Deadshot. I mean, I like Will Smith as an actor, but he can come off like he usually plays good guys, let's be honest. And to have him play, a really bad dude and everything, and be able to go through, he does it still with enough of a, kind of a wink that, it makes you feel good, so you don't think he's a complete scumbag, but he still is, kind of bad enough to do what he does. And it's very, very commendable. But really the tough one, but he is third banana in all this, if we're completely honest. Benedict Cumberbatch could not have done much better as far as Doctor Strange goes. I think he did a really fantastic job there. People complain about the accent. As I said during that review, I don't have a problem with that at all. I'm super fine with it. But ultimately, you got to go to Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, man, for just a great performance, super fun all around. You can watch that movie over and over and still have a blast with it. And it's because of this guy, not only his acting, but really his just commitment to making the movie what it's supposed to be. And I think under the reins of anyone else, it could have turned up really, really crappy. And but I got to go with Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool.
I'll go next. Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool. That movie. Here's how good that movie is. My girlfriend, who is also her own person, my girlfriend today, by herself on her own, no prying, no prompting from me, watched Deadpool by herself.
Wow, nice.
And loves the movie. That is how good both Ryan Reynolds and the Deadpool movie are. It could be one of those things where Keanu Reeves is in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and it's the perfect melding of people. Mm-hmm. It could be one of those things where you can't have anyone else besides Ryan Reynolds in that role. That person doesn't exist outside of Ryan Reynolds. It's got to be Ryan Reynolds, man. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. You can bring in someone else to do it, and everyone's just going to always go, you know what? That's not nearly as good as Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. It's kind of like where Joker is now with Heath Ledger. You're not going to beat Heath Ledger, at least for the next bunch of years, being Joker. You're just not going to do it. Heath Ledger is the Joker at this point. And Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. You're not going to have another person come in and not have their performance judged by the expectation of what Ryan Reynolds brought to that role.
Indeed. Bruce, what do you got?
Okay. First off, I'm just going to say that I preferred Will Smith's performance as Deadshot to Benedict Cumberbatch. That's a little bit of a stretch because the Doctor Strange movie, much better, but I think that was the best performance I've ever seen out of Will Smith, understanding that I haven't seen the Concussion movie, so I don't know how he does in that.
It's fair.
But
It's not
but
as
the
good
winner,
as this.
that's an afterthought. The winner's Ryan Reynolds. There's no other way about it. I knew last February that Ryan Reynolds would probably win this award. And not only did I know, but so did the Hollywood Foreign Press because he got nominated for Best Actor for this role as Deadpool. So I don't always agree with them, but I do in this case, Ryan Reynolds.
Wow.
All right, very good. It's Ryan Reynolds all around here. So we're going to skip ahead in my notes here a little bit. We're going to go for Best Sidekick.
Ooh.
The nominees
Like this.
are Brianna Hildebrandt as Negasonic Teenage Warhead in Deadpool, Richard Pryor as Gus in Superman 3, or Jeremy Irons as Alfred in Batman v Superman.
I should probably start this one off, man, because
Alrighty.
I love sidekicks too. And out of these three, I don't think anybody gave me near as much joy. I'm going to stay on that Deadpool train. But Brianna Hildebrandt, never heard of her before, saw this movie. She won me over right off the bat. The character was written well. It was performed well. I think it was a type of character we haven't really seen a whole lot in these superhero movies. So, Miss Hildebrandt, huzzah.
Huzzah indeed, Sean.
Okay, there's one character that I think needs to go on this list.
All right.
And it's Sebastian Shaw as Winter Soldier, because Winter Soldier is a sidekick. Like it or not, he is a sidekick.
You're right. I just didn't like him as well as I didn't like him that well.
Well,
I hated his guts, so forget that guy.
I think he's a great actor. And you know, as far as I'm sorry, who are the other sidekicks that you have?
Richard Pryor as Gus in Superman 3, or Jeremy Irons as Alfred in Batman v Superman.
Right. So it feels like sacrilege to say this. Richard Pryor should never have been in that movie. Richard Pryor was in a completely different movie than what everyone else was working on when they were doing Superman 3. That movie is just awful. I mean, it's quaint. I like it, but he is not supposed to be in that movie. Jeremy Irons is great as Alfred. You know, I think that you and I, Bruce, are on the same page with this, where I like my Alfred a little bit tougher. I don't like the preening Mr. Belvedere type Alfred. I like the tough guy Alfred. I'm a sucker for a tough old man. I just am.
Yeah.
And so I like him in that movie. But you got to go Negasonic Teenage Warhead, man. I mean, she is so great in that movie. She has like 15 lines and it doesn't matter. You know, like she's just so good in it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, that's Negasonic all around, man. Because you're right. From a character that sits there and rolls her eyes half the time, and that's an amazing performance. That's good stuff, man. When you remember that character and something that could, again, when I saw her like initially for the whole thing, I'm like, oh, what is this going to be? And man, oh man, it just threw my expectations right out the window and kind of knocked it out of the park with it. So, right on.
How quickly she could switch from tough to vulnerable in that movie just amazed me.
Very good. All right, so next up is going to be Best Series. We have Luke Cage, Daredevil Season 2, and The Flash. We want to put any other nominees in here before we get to the voting?
Sorry that I keep doing that. No, those are the best ones.
No, okay. All right.
You did have a week to add to it, Sean.
I'm sorry, man. That commercial ate my lunch. There's nothing I could do about it.
He do what he do. Give him a break. So, yeah, man, this is tough. This is really tough because you have three very strong entries here, three very different shows as well.
Let's hear from Sean first.
I can't think, man. This is tough.
Luke Cage. It's Luke Cage. That's the only correct answer here. The Flash Season 2 is very good. It ain't Luke Cage. It's not even close to Luke Cage. And Daredevil Season 2 is also very good. It ain't Luke Cage. Luke Cage is by far not even close to the best thing that happened this year series-wide.
Well, I'll come in second here and say Luke Cage for the music alone, Luke Cage.
I mean, that's where I was leaning anyways, and thinking back on what I actually reviewed, I think I actually gave the highest review on Luke Cage, so it'd be almost silly for me not to do it. And like I said, again, I like the other two a whole bunch as well. And, I even got the Luke Cage soundtrack on vinyl for crying out loud. So I really did enjoy it. So, yeah, I mean, Luke Cage has got to be it.
On vinyl?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And they're also putting out the soundtrack as well for Daredevil and Jessica Jones as well.
Hey, if they want me to buy it, they need to put it out on 8-track.
They sound really good, 180 gram quality. It's good stuff. So I'll
just fire up your El Camino and throw that sucker in there.
You got it, baby.
Hey, if it worked for Kiss, Detroit Rock City, it can work for anything.
All right. Now on to best movie new release. We got Deadpool.
Do we want to do our eye candies or the movie?
I like those. I like those being afterwards because they're
Okay.
they're a different, more interesting thing. These are kind of the ones that people expected.
Okay, sorry.
Best movie new releases, we got Deadpool, we got Captain America Civil War, we got Rogue One. They're not on the list because, Bruce probably thought they were crap, but I'm going to throw them in there because they were there. Also going to throw in Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. Anything else that we had that might...
X-Men Apocalypse.
X-Men Apocalypse. See, we got so much... Man, I can't believe
I think
we thought...
the Ninja Turtles sequel might have been this year.
Yeah, that was in there.
It was this year.
Mm-hmm. All right, but I'm sure that there's probably a best one in there. And Rogue One, of course. I don't know if I said that or not.
And Doctor Strange I could have thrown on there easily.
Strange, yeah. See, there's so many to choose from. I think that's why we kind of limit it down in some cases, of course. Best release of the year. What do we got, guys?
I'll go first.
Okay.
To me, it's neck and neck between Captain America: Civil War and Star Wars. I love Deadpool. I love that movie, but that is a good movie, but it's not Civil War and it's not Star Wars. Civil War had a lot to do this year, and it did it. It did everything we wanted, and it gave us more than we wanted, and it's why Marvel is Marvel and everyone else sucks. I mean, they're not only did they give us a very good Civil War between heroes, they also gave us Spider-Man. And because of his appearance in this, we're all looking forward to the Spider-Man movie next year. Like that, it's because of Civil War. And then you got to look at Rogue One, and Rogue One had expectations also, and I love that movie too. But I think overall, Captain America: Civil War is the best movie we reviewed this year. I love that movie so much.
Well, I'll go next because I like for Adam to go last on this one.
All right.
But I'm sure both of you guys really do a good job of keeping track on how I've voted in previous years. But just to remind you, for the listener's sake, I know you guys already know, but last year my favorite movie was Kingsman. The year before, my favorite movie was Guardians of the Galaxy. So do you guys maybe get an idea of kind of what I'm a sucker for here?
Yeah.
So I'm voting Deadpool. I can't help it, man. It's if I were going to sit down and watch any of these three movies right now, I would probably sit down and watch Deadpool.
I mean, it's a great answer. I mean,
it's a great movie. Who's going to fault you for that? It's great.
No doubt. Leaves it up to me. I gotta, like I said, I'm a big fan of most of these movies and everything, but I gotta give it to Civil War, man, because this is a movie that could have flopped and just done everything wrong. I think Rogue One, while a great movie and everything, it's almost like, in an odd way, it feels like you almost have to try to kind of screw that up. There's so many of the pieces that are in place right now, and the fact that Lucas's hands are off of everything, and it's actually being given to, because from JJ on, every Star Wars movie is going to be made by someone who grew up loving Star Wars, and that's a huge, huge thing. And so I think it's almost, like I said, you almost have to try to screw that thing up. But, man, the balancing act and everything that had to be done with Civil War, how they have so much to chew on and get through all of it. And like you said, they finally brought in Spider-Man into this universe again. And I mean, with that, like, Giant Man coming into play, like, just watching some of this stuff, man, will just put such a smile on your face. Now, you're not laughing your tail off like you do in Deadpool, but man, oh man, it is seeing what we love in comics and stuff come to life, and that's why Civil War is gonna get it from me.
The hardest I've laughed this year in a superhero movie is between Deadpool and Civil War, though. You know, that moment where Spider-Man says, "Hey, you guys remember that really old movie, The Empire Strikes Back?"
So good.
That was pretty funny.
Line.
I mean, there's things like that. Then there's like the, "Hey, could you move your seat up?" No.
No.
So good. All right. Now we get into the special categories. These are all the other ones. You can hear those on other podcasts. Those are super and fine and all that kind of good stuff. We've got other things. Now these are the special ones. This category is retro eye candy male. So any of the older flicks that we've seen that got a little bit of eye candy in it for the ladies or men, who whatever. Who got the eyebrows going up, going hello. And the nominees are Eric Kramer as Thor in The Return of the Incredible Hulk, Reb Brown as Captain America in Captain America 1979, or Nick Hammond in Spider-Man from 1977. I'll start with this one and just go, let's throw Nick Hammond off the bridge while he's on fire.
That was for Sean.
Because he does not belong in this category at all. If you want
How dare you? How dare you, Adam Portrais?
Listen.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does belong.
Because you know who I want to see with his shirt off all the time and who is very often with his shirt off is Reb Brown as Captain America. This guy was hired for his looks and not for his acting ability, but for the fact alone that man was some eye candy. So, he couldn't act his way out of a wet paper sack, but by God, he looked good with his shirt off. Go for you, Reb Brown. Bruce, what do you got?
Well, Eric Kramer, I'm sure he's a fine-looking guy. It's just really hard to look handsome next to that guy that played Donald Blake. You're standing next to him, it drags you down full 2-star ratings, And Nick Hammond, he had to wear some tight clothes. He showed off what he had going for him. But at the end of the day, Reb Brown, guy's on a beach drawing pictures outside of his weirdly creepy van. You gotta love the handsomeness that it takes to pull that off.
I need to make a phone call. Hold on. Let me just pull over to this surf shop that I'm sure that has a waiting notice for me.
Yeah, I'm just going to pull off at this random place to use the phone. Hey, they just happen to have a package for me.
What do you know? Bunch of crap. Sean?
Nick Hammond. It's Nick Hammond. Nick Hammond is amazing. You guys are just jealous because he's so handsome. Nick Hammond is the winner of this category for all Shanzi.
Nick Hammond's like handsome, like a loaf of bread is gorgeous. You're just like, well, I mean, I guess it's a loaf of bread. What can you say about it?
You know what? I bet I have said before, that loaf of bread looks gorgeous.
It's a handsome loaf of bread right there.
Oh, that is a good-looking loaf of bread, I thought.
Speaking of good-looking loaves of bread, next category is Retro Eye Candy Female Edition. We got Jennifer Garner as Elektra in Daredevil 2003, Jessica Alba as Nancy in Sin City, or Rosario Dawson as Valerie and Josie in the Pussycats. Who wants to go first?
I think Sean should go first.
All righty.
My favorite, but I have a soft spot in my heart for Jennifer Garner. Jennifer Garner looks like someone who can handle herself in a movie, or doing this physical stuff. I don't know what it is about Jessica Alba. I don't like her, and I've never liked her. I don't like her in anything she's ever done. She's pretty, sure, but should she be a superhero? No, she shouldn't. She should be like selling Revlon products. She doesn't look like.
She does some of that too.
I'm sure she does. She's very pretty, but Rosario Dawson is also gorgeous. But I just have a soft spot in my heart for Jennifer Garner, so I'm going Jennifer Garner for the retro.
Okay, Bruce, what do you got?
Oh man, it's Rosario Dawson. Did you see? I ought to stop it.
Did you almost do a humming?
It was only a couple of weeks ago, man. It's amazing. It's world-shattering. I love Rosario Dawson.
Okay. I love Rosario Dawson, too. Not in that movie. I mean, like, take nothing away. It's just like it's not the role where I just go va va boom. It doesn't work for me. And this is the category of eye candy, and that's got to make you. It's got to get your feelers up a little bit, man. You got to give a little bit of something in there.
Well, can I, before you make your vote official, I just want to quote Sean here from a Stallone connection.
Okay.
He said that Rosario Dawson is made up of whatever sex he comes from. I think it was something like that.
Something
Sean.
along those lines.
Yep.
That's true.
Yep.
They could have added another dash in that movie. That's all I'm saying. Jessica Alba, like you said, I think she's a good-looking enough lady. She couldn't act her way out of a paper sack. But the big problem here, as I've stated with the Sin City movies, ever since that one came out, not that she's got a lot happening, but if Nancy's not topless, it takes away from the role. I don't necessarily want to see what little bit Jessica Alba has upstairs, but not having that in there actually is more distracting than it not being there, if you will. So I got to go Jennifer Garner in Elektra, man. Like we said before, that's not a perfect film, but she carries herself really well, and she makes me think that Daredevil could actually, be in love with this chick, and that makes sense to me, and it works. So, yeah, Jennifer Garner, man.
Yeah.
All right, on to some special awards. Bring this one on. Here it is. This is the best recycling of Canadian children's programming. And that award goes to, let's put the envelope here. That one goes to Power Pack. Congratulations, Power Pack. You took some old Canadian broadcasting crap, recycled it a little bit, add some god-awful special effects, and made something that you called a superhero pilot. How dare you, sir? How dare you? Any other comments?
I think it was a good choice.
Yeah, I would say that Generation X feels like it's from Canada also.
True.
But nothing beats Power Pack. That kid falling down the sink. Come on. That's the greatest thing ever.
That thing was made for $5, $5 Canadian dollars.
So about $4.25.
So not, it ain't
A couple
great.
toonies and a loony went into that.
Got that
Man,
right.
so good. So good. That movie was a movie? That was
Quote,
a half
unquote.
hour long.
Yeah, 22 minutes with
We
time
didn't
for
get to see
commercials.
the director's cut.
And think of how much we had to say about that thing. So
There's a
good.
full hour, like we recorded for twice the length of that garbage. So good. Best use of Norman Reedus in a comic book property other than The Walking Dead. Frankly, I would say that there's nothing that qualifies in this, but we did review which was it?
Blade 2.
Blade 2. I was almost thinking it was the first one, but no, Blade 2. Which
He plays Scud.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Yep, he's good.
And he plays, get this, a greasy white trash dude. Who'd have thought Norman Reedus would play a greasy white trash dude who's kind of a BA and just does what he wants?
You want to hear my thoughts on it, and I know the name's slightly different, but when I see Norman Reedus in Blade 2, I imagine that that's who Scut Farkas from A Christmas Story grew up to be.
That's pretty great.
That's not
That's pretty
bad.
great.
I like
It's funny because Norman Reedus has basically taken over from the Juliette Lewis role, where you need a like a white trash scummy scumbag, hire Juliette Lewis.
Mm-hmm. He's the male version of that. There's no doubt. Yeah. And with his boyish good looks, could be the lady too. Who knows?
Yeah.
Last category here before we get into some other fine stuff. Best actress whose role may be used to build a tenuous argument that Josie and the Pussycats exist in the Marvel Netflix universe, making it perfectly reasonable to have a Punisher meet Archie on screen award. Goes to Bruce. I believe you have the envelope on this.
Yeah,
one?
because that comic book where Archie met the Punisher needs to be a movie, and this is the way we get John Barenthal on with whoever they've cast over at the CW to do it. You got to step on this. We find out that as a kid, Claire Temple was in an all-girl punk band. She went by the name Valerie Rosario Dawson.
And here's the thing, man. Then you go through. Archie also met the Predator at some point. We got to make that happen.
And Kiss, and the Ramones.
And let's leave Kiss out of this.
And Sharknado. Tara Reid comes into play.
Well, it all comes full circle. Time to commit suicide.
That's your answer for everything.
That's true. All right. So now we get to the time of the year that's the most important, where we can look back amongst these 51 weeks and say, is there anything that we want to re-rate? So we have our regular Robin rating system, as all of you good listeners know. And, sometimes things can happen. Movies can grow on you, or they can kind of die away a little bit, and you're like, what the heck was I thinking? Does anyone have anything that they want to put on the table right now to re-review for this year of 2016?
Well, I'll say, having 7 days to think about it and going back and seeing the movie a couple more times, maybe I should re-rate Rogue One, but I'm not going to do that. I think what I'm just going to say is I probably rated something too high somewhere along the way. I tend to do that. So feel free, dear listener, to pick out which rating you disagreed with and re-rate it for yourself, and I'll stick to it.
What a cop-out if there was ever one.
I can't even remember what I rated the movies we did 2 weeks ago, so I'm hurting right now.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Keenan, any recollections?
The only thing that I think I want to re-rate is the Turtles sequel, because I think that I gave it the lowest score you can possibly give it.
What's his nose? Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah, Chris O'Donnell as Jason Todd.
Yeah,
more or less.
Something.
Yeah, if our listeners, if the HMPers can please come up with a rating lower than that. That is what I would give. That is what I would give this movie. That movie is the worst. That movie is so unbelievably bad. I would rather watch Batman Bad Blood or Justice League versus the Teen Titans 1,000 times before I ever see that movie again ever.
Now I know you're a sick man.
That might be the worst movie I've ever seen. Go ahead.
How about Kevin Costner's Robin Hood?
Not bad, but it's got to relate to the Robins, like the actual Batman Robins. So that is, if all you HMPers can put your HMP-ness together.
How dare you?
Huh?
I actually have refrained from that joke before, Sean. I can't believe, and I love the low-hanging fruit.
I know you do.
Boy, he does, doesn't he?
I know you do, but if you HMPers can put it together and come up with a rating lower than Chris O'Donnell as Jason Todd, please let us know. That's what I would give it.
HerMoviePodcast@gmail.com.
Please.
That's a challenge I think cannot be answered. I look forward to seeing people try.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Honestly, I kind of went back and thought about some stuff, and I think I'm pretty good with this year. I thought because last year I went and re-rated the Turtles movie as a little bit better than I had previously thought it was. I think this one was, I think I rated correctly. Wasn't the biggest fan, but didn't hate it. Clearly did not hate it like Sean did. But yeah, it's like I think I'm pretty good. I don't know that I have to. This was a pretty solid year of being pretty dead on with everything. I think. I don't. No regrets, man.
We're all perfect this year.
Yeah, we are perfect. I think that just kind of goes without saying. Okay, so now that brings us up to 2017. So we got to talk about the most anticipated films of 2017, and we got a boatload. Again, I started out with this. I started out the show talking about how we were like, let's go twice a month because we're going to run out of stuff super quick. And 2017 shows us, oh no, you not. So we have Lego Batman, Logan, Ghost in the Shell, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man Homecoming, Kingsman: The Golden Circle, Thor Ragnarok, Justice League, or Star Wars Episode 8. This is a tough one. A lot of big stuff here. A lot of kind of sequels. A lot of big newbies to the area and everything. So tough to say.
I think I know where you're going, Adam. I think a lot of people might know where you go. So you want to just spill the beans?
Oh, I don't think I don't know that. Well, who knows? Let's see.
I know what I think. I definitely know what I think, but what I think might be wrong. I want to hear it.
You think wrong. Honestly, I'm looking forward to a lot of these. I really am. I want to see what what they're going to do with Logan to kind of wrap all that kind of good stuff up. And this was I'd saved it. I hadn't watched it until I went to see Star Wars, but I had not seen the Homecoming teaser, which I really, really enjoyed. And again, it's one of those, shoot, dude, they're doing it. They're doing it, son. And so really excited about that. But overall, it's the oddest thing. And if you would have told me, a year ago that would be the thing that I'm kind of looking forward to the most, I'd have told you were insane. I'm going Lego Batman. I don't know.
That's what I figured you were going to say.
I don't know why, but gosh, it looks like so much fun. Every little trailer that they put out just looks like it's going to be a blast, and I'm excited to see a ton of movies this year, but there's something special about that one that makes me think, well, this is going to be good.
It's going to be an animated movie that Sean will like.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, totally. I love the Lego movie.
Yeah.
I think that movie is fantastic.
And Batman was one of the best parts of that already great movie. If you take them out, it's still a good movie. You add the Batman stuff in there, and they're like, we're going to give you an hour and a half of straight Batman. I'm like, son, just done and done.
And also, Warner Brothers and DC really needs a win, and I think they're going to get it with Lego Batman. I don't think it's going to get the same kind of negative reviews that the movies they put out this past year did. So I'm anticipating Lego Batman probably equally as eagerly as Adam.
Nice. Okay. So is that at the top of your list there then?
Oh, yeah.
Nice. All right. Sean, what do you have?
For me, it's a 3-way tie, but I do have a winner overall. But the 3 things that I'm looking most forward to are Lego Batman, Star Wars Episode 8, because my favorite writer-director of all time is writing and directing Star Wars Episode 8. It's
Tyler Perry?
Yes, exactly.
Tyler Perry does Star Wars Episode 8.
Darth Medea.
Don't you come in here with all your Jedi stuff.
But the thing I'm looking most forward to is Guardians of the Galaxy 2, man. There is something so special about those people together. Watching the trailer for that movie brings me such unbelievable joy. And here's the thing with that movie, because we've learned it from the last time, they're not even showing you 10% of what that movie is.
Yeah.
They are showing you funny moments. They're not showing you the funniest moments of that movie.
And we're going to get a living planet.
Yeah.
And it feels like they're really, and with 2 trailers out there, it still seems like they're holding back, and that's a good sign. Such a good sign. We
haven't seen Stallone. We haven't seen Kurt Russell.
And we don't, we barely even know what the full crux of the regular movie in and of itself is. It's almost more of like kind of a feeler trailer, if you will. It's like, hey, you remember the stuff that you liked before? We're going to do that again. But it's obviously going to be different. So yeah, like I said, that was my number 1 movie of that year. So I'm looking, and the first movie actually to get all Dick Graysons, the first one on HMP.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
So it's got that distinction. So lot to look forward to. But that's numero uno then, yeah.
For me, it is. I cannot wait for Guardians of the Galaxy 2. There's also something that isn't a comic book property, but I can't wait to see it, and it's kind of in the nerd culture a little bit, which is the new Netflix series, A Series of Fortunate Events.
You're looking forward to that.
That looks so good. In my house, that was a staple of my girls growing up. They love that book series.
The Lemony Snicket stuff.
Series. Yes.
Yeah.
We love the movie. We love the book series. It's so great, and Neil Patrick Harris looks so awesome in that movie.
Yeah, I've only seen the picture and stuff, but I like the movie well enough. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Jim Carrey's last great role.
Yeah, that's.
I like Kick-Ass too.
Oh right,
yeah, he was. Yeah,
he is great. He's the best part of that movie. Actually,
yeah.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, he plays a real odd psychopath in that. It's good stuff.
Yeah,
all right, man. So that is it, guys. That is 2016 in a nutshell, there, man. And a look on to 2017 as well. If you have any questions, comments, anything else like that, hearmoviepodcast@gmail.com. We always like hearing from you guys. We'll if it's super awesome and everything, we'll read it on the air and whatnot. But thanks for another great year. We really appreciate that. And like I said, we keep growing. month after month, year after year, and it's all because of you guys, man, and just telling your friends and getting out there and doing what you do, and we really appreciate that. We'd really love to say thank you to everyone who's helped us out on Patreon and everything, and it's been awesome that you guys kind of come in, give us a little bit of extra something, and of course, as you know, you get a little bit of something in return from being able to vote on stuff, to be able to get the extra podcast there and everything. And if you're not a part of that, man, even for $1, you can get in on all the good action and stuff, help this show out, and get yourself more awesomeness in return. So patreon.com/HMP. So next week, what did we say we were going to do? Oh, yeah, I think we're going to be doing The Flash for the beginning of 2017. Come into that.
Season 3 of how far we've got.
First half season.
First half of Season 3 for The Flash. So a show that we've all been on board with since the first go-around here. You can go back and listen to those older episodes if you'd like. But we'll be talking a little bit of Flash come next week. Bruce, where can we find more of your work on the internet this week, sir?
You know what? In lieu of checking out my stuff, why doesn't everybody in the new year just go donate $1 to Hands Across America? Is that still a thing?
No.
Oh, well, bring back Hands Across America in my honor, and I'll be happy.
I thought you were going to say just, since that doesn't exist, patreon.com/HMP. What is wrong with you? We're just
that's what I meant.
We're just as good as Hands Across America because we're sure.
Hands across my family room. That's what the three of us can do.
Yeah, we'll get. we'll
How big's your family room? Will we make it?
It's about 3 people wide.
Perfect. That's all we need. We'll bring in a couple of the kids if we need that extra foot or two. So no worries. Sean.
First of all, I wanted to wish everybody Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and Happy New Year. And thank you very much, and Happy Kwanzaa. Thank you very much for making us a part of your year this year. There's a lot more people listening to this show than I ever thought there would be. And thank you very much for listening.
Absolutely.
And also Happy Chinese New Year. You left one out.
I thought that happens in February.
Yeah, I thought that was February.
Never too early to start newing your Chinese year.
This is why we can't fire him, people. We think about it from time to time. We're like, how can we fire Bruce? And then he pulls in one of these, and you're just like, God bless him. We can't get rid of him. He's too good.
I like that you verbed new.
You do what you got to do for the sake of the show.
Absolutely.
So good. We've got 2 new. We came up with 2 new things this week. That newing your. It's never too early to new your Chinese year. Very good. Very good.
Oh, man. Shout out to Genghis Khanis. All right. That is it, everybody. For Sean Keenan, Bruce Leslie, I'm Adam Portrais. We'll see you in 2017. Stay super, everybody.
Merry Christmas, Marty and Evie.